listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. We're streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. Now it's after 8 o'clock. Time for our Life South Blood Bank report. We've got Galen on the phone. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Adam. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'll be honest with you. I was... After all the stay-at-home order stuff yesterday, I kind of got to the station, and I was the only one here this morning, and I've lost some hitch in my giddy-up. I like Thursdays. It's one step closer to Friday, but it's kind of like, all right, hang on, let's regroup, let's refocus. Now the idea is midnight tonight, shut her down, everything. Not here at the station. We'll be here. I'm thankfully considered essential, so I'll be able to continue to do the show and do everything that's necessary to keep you guys informed and entertained. But for a lot of my colleagues and other counterparts, they're looking otherwise.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to go back to the same thing I've been saying. I don't understand why. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I see a lot of data. I see our hospital admissions. I see, as much data as that can legally be obtained, and I just don't understand this. And I keep being told by government officials that, the next surge is coming. The next surge is coming. I've been told that for 3 weeks now, and it's not. It's not here yet. So. I don't understand it, and I think this is an opportunity for our government to take over more control of our lives, and I really think that's what's behind it, more than the virus itself. So, look, even Italy's past the hard part, right? Italy, it's admitted that Italy is beyond it. Now we have this supposed cure, so. But you still close everything down indefinitely, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. They refuse to put a timeline on it. We're fighting an invisible enemy. So, press conference, they have one with the Army, and the Army's like, 70,000 people a year die from opioid overdose. We don't shut everything down for opioid overdose.
Well, opioids.
Right?
I guess they're not contagious,
right?
Either.
Well, yeah, but it kills more people.
Yeah.
And it's killed more people. It kills 70,000 people a year. The common cold kills 30,000 people a year. We don't, and that's contagious, and we don't shut it down. Mm-hmm. We didn't shut everything down when we didn't know where HIV came from. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just a massive overreach. That's all. And nothing's going to change my mind at this point. Unless this surge really does come, then it'll change my mind. But,
yeah. Here's a question for you. A lot of everything that I've been seeing with news related to COVID-19 is everybody's... There's something coming from every state, from every politician, from every head honcho at somewhere about supplies being so low or needing supplies. Where does this come from? I thought there was a preparedness, that there was a preparation that was involved, weeks ago that got people, and I think even now, like GMs to make ventilators and all this stuff. What happened that we're and is that true from whom you talk to and stuff? Are these supplies that dire?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because they've created, when you create a panic, and now you have people on social media, putting their mask on and showing whether its mask is on, and people walking in the grocery store with these masks. That creates a supply and a demand. And the supply cannot possibly keep up with the demand. So, usually in a hospital, the only people who are wearing masks are if you're dealing with a patient who has respiratory issues of some kind, or they're immune compromised, or you're actually in the surgical ward.
Okay.
Or surgical room, potentially ICU, but not very often. So now you've got every person within a hospital. So you look at a hospital like, Advent Health here in Ocala, and they have 3,000 employees. That's 3,000 masks.
Right.
That's a lot, right? When they probably use 700. Now you do that, you extrapolate that across a whole country and really the entire world.
Yeah.
And now everybody and their mother wants one of these masks. And okay. And I'll tell you this, I would wear a mask and I'd assign every American a mask so you can go back to some normalcy and open stuff up. Right? Because again, I don't see, I kept waiting. They said, oh, we're going to share you with our charts, right? I saw the charts and I'm like, this doesn't tell us anything. All you're showing us is a line on the graph that you think's going to happen. And you keep saying it's going to happen, but it never happens. Every day they're like, oh, we're flattening the curve. It's going to get to 100 to 200,000 deaths. Nowhere near that. Is that 200,000 deaths over the course of 18 months? Okay, well, I think that's a pretty crappy flu season.
Yeah.
That's what happened with SARS and H1N1.
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing that happened. We didn't shut everything down for H1N1.
Yeah.
When 30% of our population was out with the flu, the working population was out with the flu, we didn't shut everything down. So, and I know what COVID-19 does. I know how it attaches to the system. I get all that, but it doesn't impact everybody. So, Again,
Now,
frustrating.
Now, did you kind of see the stay-at-home order eventually coming, or were you kind of thinking a little bit more optimistic that we were doing enough that it would eventually just not come to that?
Well, it depends on what's enough.
Yeah.
Right. Again, my camp is liberty over the guise of safety. That's what I've said from day one. And this is more of our liberty being taken away. Because with this order, and what the big difference with this order is now they can arrest you. Now they can arrest you for leaving your house. And that's the real shame of this. So I have a real problem with it. And all I would ask anybody to do is watch Gavin Newsom's press conference from yesterday, and I believe that's what's behind all this. More government, the government having more power over our lives is at the root cause of all this. The government has to eat, and the only way the government can get bigger is by taking away more of our rights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now,
I know I sound crazy. I do. I get it. I understand what's coming out of my mouth. That all of a sudden, I'm a the world is ending kind of a guy. But everything. I don't care how you look at the facts. Everything points at the government getting much larger. The government's pacifying us all with a check that's now going to come out between the 17th and the 20th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you file and make sure that you're registered with the federal government.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all, and it's a government power grab.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, the dynamics of all this, too, like we were talking off air beforehand about with stay-at-home order for Florida. Now we're talking 30 days to then what? And the economy. We were discussing a little bit about just how long can we not work? Not just necessarily for everybody to pay their bills, but how long can we not work in lieu of everything that comes to the structure that is the financial.
And what does life look like when we come back?
Right. Right.
I really believe, and I said this off air. I really believe that they're going to start blaming coronavirus on the environmental impact that humans are having on the world. That's the next play, right? That's the next play, and the government getting bigger and bigger playbook. And what they're going to do is they're going to compare it to countries who embrace environmentalism, right, at the cost of jobs. And taxes are going to go up exponentially because of this. And I think you're going to see that being the next one.
Yeah.
So I think then they'll start going into more industrial government taking over the creation so that we don't run into this shortage again. So the government's going to be much more involved in producing certain things. It's all lined up there for them. So and again, remember what a lot of liberalists and progressives say is never lose the opportunity, right? When a disaster strikes, take advantage of the opportunity. And that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
so,
it feels like that. Yeah.
Until we push back, until Americans push back and say, no, we want our freedoms, nothing will change because we're just sheep. Just sheep. I'm still floored that a pastor got arrested.
I know.
for preaching in his own church peaceably, and nobody cares. There's no outrage. Nobody cares. Everything, they're calling this guy crazy now. They're calling him a crazy evangelist. That's where we're at. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at.
Yep. With this segment, as we're moving on through, and as we have talked about this through and through, we want to give a shout out Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, as they're located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street, with all of the skilled nursing, physical, and occupational therapy, speech therapy. It's been brought up. Any questions that anybody has within Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center and how they're handling COVID-19 and what they've done through the last month or so dealing with the coronavirus, they encourage them, give them a call, 352-854-6262. That's 352-854-6262. And of course, Penn Flooring, you shout out to them at 1201 Southwest 17th Street for all of your flooring needs. Success of their unrivaled customer service for commercial and residential fields. 351-3420. That's 351-3420 for Penn Flooring and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Also, too, Galen, I was going to mention, a lot of people are thinking, all right, stay at home. If that's the case, then obviously the essentials are going to remain open, such as gas stations and the grocery stores and pharmacies. But a lot of people are thinking, well, if I need to hunker down, then now's the time to get to the liquor store and get the bottle of booze I want to get me through to the month. So I got to ask you, what's your liquor of choice or your alcohol of choice through getting the opportunity to just relax on the weekend and take a break from it all?
Well, I'm a bourbon guy. I like bourbon.
Yeah. What's
I got a pretty big stock, so I'll be all right.
What's your go-to? What's one of your favorite bourbons? Brands.
I like a lot of them. What I've been drinking a lot lately is Knob Creek, and they make a rye. I like Knob Creek.
Yeah.
I like Bullet. But Knob Creek makes a rye, and it is just outstanding.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
I would recommend that for anybody. It's got that, I like a peppery taste in my bourbon.
Yeah.
So, Crown Royal you can't go wrong with. You just can't. It's a good drink. So, what else?
I was going to say,
I've had a lot of bourbons. I also like cognac.
Yeah.
So I got my bottle of cognac in the freezer.
Ooh, chill.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I still have to go to work.
Yeah.
I have no idea if any blood donors are ever going to be allowed to come in our doors.
That's
still trying to figure out if somebody has an appointment, if they won't get arrested on their way.
Yeah.
I got this piece of paper saying I can travel. Think about that. You have to have a piece of paper. You have to be able to show your papers to travel in the United States of America today.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Think about that. And I'm not talking like a green card or something or a driver's license. You have to show your papers.
Yeah.
The Gestapo is here. Brown shirts are here. I'm serious. There's nothing else to compare it to. If a month ago, if in January I said, yeah, you know what, in April,
Yeah.
you're going to have to show the authorities your papers, you would have laughed at me.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Okay.
right. At the beginning of the year, if you would have said by April,
That's where we're at.
you would have had to show whether or not you were considered to be essential with your papers. That would have been ridiculous.
We no longer have a right to travel in the United States. All our freedoms are gone now, all of them, and we're just sitting idly by under the guise of safety.
Now, in lieu of this, do you still think that, obviously tumultuous as that is this maybe what could just wrap this all up though anyway? Like these next 30 days could just, with this stay-at-home stuff, do you think that maybe this could just wrap it up? Like, okay, at the end of April, we could move on from the corona?
No, they're already setting. No, they're already setting the groundwork for this to last over a year. This is going to happen again in the fall. Dr. Fauci has said that. Right now, Dr. Fauci is the most trustworthy person on the planet, even though he's handled SARS, and people, when they look back, they don't think he handled it particularly well. So you look at Dr. Fauci; he's already laid the groundwork. Like, oh, this is going to come back in the fall.
Yeah.
So, what? Why? Again, are we going to be limited to 6 feet apart for the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
Because of coronavirus? Because of a flu?
Yeah.
And they're already talking about redesigning stadiums and limiting the amount of access of how people can watch anything, whether it's a concert or a play at your kid's school. They're talking about redesigning classrooms. And again, if they separate us as a society and we can no longer, talk to one another and without being on a video stream, that's something that obviously the government can track, because when you type in the terms of service, it can all be recorded. We can no longer assemble freely. First Amendment gone. First Amendment has been wiped off the face of the earth, because it doesn't exist in any other country. And what they've done with coronavirus is completely wiped out First Amendment. It's gone. They're arresting people and people don't care. They're calling them crazy. They're calling them uncaring. Okay.
Now, with the idea of the stuff you guys do with Life South Community Blood Centers, like, how are you guys looking to tackle the day to try to adapt to the stay-at-home order? What is it that you guys have come up with?
We're trying to work with. Well, we haven't yet,
Yeah.
because we haven't got the complete guidance that we need from the government. Yep. In order to operate my business or work within the business, I have to get approval from the government. So we're trying to figure out if we need those passes for individuals who have an appointment. Our bloodmobiles have been removed.
Okay.
I think we're allowed to go to the hospitals and have blood drives at the hospitals, and that's it. So I think we'll probably still be able to go to grocery stores. We're just not sure, because the guidance has been pretty vague for us. They called us essential, but we don't know if we can bring the bloodmobile wherever we need it.
Gotcha. Now, I was going to say, with that in mind of how, okay, already there's going to be just less people to do that. We know the elective surgeries were canceled, so they're using less of it. But what has that done so far this week with the blood supply? And what do you guys maybe see that then carrying through with the weekend? Do you see it dropping off?
Well, we need to get to, we need platelets. We need a lot of platelets, because people are still undergoing their cancer treatment.
Yeah.
So we need people to call us and make an appointment, 622-3544. And hopefully we'll have an answer for you by tomorrow morning on how you can get to the blood center and if it's legal. sad.
Yeah,
I know you don't want to talk about it, but
no, I see
I
what
don't
you mean.
think enough people are talking about it.
Yeah, no.
They're just not. I just think it's being completely swept under the rug that we have no more First Amendment right.
It's a heavy concept in lieu of like you said, the idea of government doing more. Did we ask them to do more? Where did they just do more? I didn't really ask them for that, but it's a matter of safety. So
that's right. It's safety under taking our liberties.
What's funny is I talked to somebody the other day who kind of shares along the same little bit of mindset that you and I have a little bit of it, where it's a little over the top, and what he compared it to was how kind of the situation of where we were immediately after September 11th. The idea of safety and the facade of it and what we can do. There was no oddball bad ideas. If it was, let's put soldiers over here on this boat ramp. Well, the boat ramp hasn't been used in forever. Well, it's on the base, and we need to make sure every outlet and corner is protected. Let's just do it. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Let's just do it. And it's sometimes, I think, worth the value of the conversation that where's logic, where's common sense when something like this becomes so panicky in a sense. And no, I understand it. There's value in the conversation, and that's important. No, I understand that.
The difference with 9/11, the difference in 9/11 is if you're moving a military personnel, you own that military personnel.
True.
They have no right.
True. They're given orders to follow orders.
Government wasn't telling us where we could and could not go. They suspended air travel for 24 hours or 48 hours. Maybe it was a week. I completely respected that, because that was a true risk at the time, and we had to assess it, and we had to build up TSA. And there's nowhere in the Constitution where you have a right to fly. You
right.
can walk anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so I had no problem with that. But they didn't close businesses down. They didn't say hunker down. They didn't say there was no martial law, and we're one step away from martial law, even though this is kind of martial law. That's by the way, they're already saying they're gonna impose martial law, just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And the facts that are coming out, if you look at the CDC website, it's completely different than what some of the media are telling you. 3,600 deaths to COVID. 3,600 over the course of 4 months in the United States. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing all this for, people. I know the surge is coming, but right now, 3,600 people,
Yeah.
and they're not really sharing with you how many people have recovered. So you have no idea how many people got the virus it showed and were asymptomatic. No idea. The only people who are being tested are people who think they're sick.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Galen, we appreciate it, buddy. And tomorrow when we talk, hopefully we'll have some good news of what you guys find out in lieu of your work today.
Unless you watch Creed.
I know.
If you watch Creed, then we can talk about something else.
And that's exactly
this
right.
segment solely on you. So as soon as you watch Creed, then we can talk about something else. It's not like you can go to the airport.
That's right.
I don't know what else you're doing with all your time.
Well, partner, until tomorrow, I appreciate it, and you guys have a good one, all right?
All right, man.
You got it, buddy.
Be good, man.
And later. We'll be back, WOCA Ocala.
Fox News.
Hello, you know my voice, don't you? Well, just this once, let me tell you something without you asking me first. Now you can complete the census online. Just go to 2020census.gov. The census cannot share your response. More importantly, you can help inform how billions in funding will be spent each year on things in your community. Complete the census online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%?
With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today.